messages are continuously getting evolved, right?
Hmm.
So it's not just one message when it is sent and it's received. Over a period of time, it will get evolved. There are a human actor and there is a non-human actor.
Yeah.
So there are now even non-human actors who are contributing. Now I think we are living in the age of omni directional communication, right? Which
Okay.
is quite complex in a way as well through this. So yes, gamification is a true winner, and I'm really excited about how AI is going to marry marketing automation, deliver again, a lot of personalized solutions for marketers.
Welcome back to Flamcast, a space where we dive into everything mixed reality, marketing, and the craft of creating unforgettable brand experiences. Today, we are joined by Rajdeep Singh. He's the Director of Brand and Marketing Communication at Big Four. He carries over 18 years of experience across startups and Fortune 500 companies. Welcome to Flamcast, Rajdeep. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Rajdev, you have been a marketing powerhouse for so many brands you have worked with. What are the key learnings from your formative years to your current role as director of brand marketing?
So yes, I have had a really good run so far. I started my career with a PR agency, and there I got to learn how to pitch ideas to journalists. I think that that's one of the most toughest job
Okay.
which a marketer can have. And after that, I worked with a few tech companies. I worked with Oracle, Infosys, and HCL Technologies, and then I worked in various functions. Right from lead generation, marketing automation, marketing operations, web marketing, and then I moved to head marketing for small London-based company. It was backed by Blackstone then, and there I acted like a full stacked marketer, basically taking care of all the marketing functions. And then from last 7 years, I'm working with EY, and I'm heading the brand marketing and comms for EY Global Delivery Services client service team. So in my role, I take care of mainly about communications internally and externally. So yeah, in short, that's what I do.
Okay. When it comes to marketing communication, what are the fundamentals that you live by that has shaped your working style today?
Okay, so in terms of fundamentals, the most important thing which I go by is that we don't really communicate to job titles, functions, or organizations. We communicate to people, right?
Hmm.
And for us to understand, people, it's very important to understand the human brain. So let me just take you, a few thousand years back. So, consider when we were cavemen, right? And our brain was programmed or wired for survival, right? So consider this: at night, there are few cavemen. They are sitting, and there's a bonfire, and they're sitting by the bush, and there is a noise or a sound, which they hear coming from the bushes. So their instinct will tell them that either it's a tiger who's there to eat them, or it's their food, which can be a deer, or they'll be really inquisitive. So what the human brain will do is, it will try to find a lot of information. It will need a lot of information for them to decide, right?
Hmm.
And you come today, nothing has changed, right? We have the same brain which we had, when we were cavemen. So the instincts are same. And when we work in our cubicles in organizations, and there is a change management which happens, or there is any change happens, our human mind goes back to the same instinct where it wants to know more information of what's happening. So as a communications professionals, I think there are a few things which are very important, that to our people we communicate in a very transparent way. We give them a lot of information. So the more the information you give them, the less anxious they'll feel.
They will. Yeah.
The other thing is that you have to continuously give them information, right? So if you are not communicating regularly,
Hmm.
that's where the anxiety comes in. So and then the last thing is that the simple the messages, the better. So transparency, the simple messages, and continuous flow of communication is very important for people.
Okay. Having experience of 18 years and having worked with so many companies across verticals, across industries, you must have seen a lot of transformative shifts happening in marketing communication. Please share some example. What are the big learning curves have been for you?
Yeah, so I think there are three shifts which I see. Right, the
Okay.
first is the one-way communication which used to happen, wherein let's say there is a sender and a receiver, and the sender is sending an information to a receiver, a message as is. So let's take example of Nike when they used to,
Mm,
let's say, they have a campaign, just do it. They will announce the campaign for the consumers. They'll do a lot of billboard advertisement and all kind of marketing, and the message will reach out to them. So that's a one way, a traditional way of communication which used to happen.
yeah.
And then it was a two-way communication where sender and receiver somehow get into a conversation, right? And you take an example of Starbucks
Mm,
and how through their loyalty campaigns or through their feedback loop,
mm,
they will communicate to and fro with their consumers. So that was a two-way communication which used to happen. Now I think we are living in the age of omni directional communication, right? Which
okay.
is quite complex in a way as well, because what happens here is that the information is actually flowing from all directions, right? It is initiated by, let's say, a person, but in between there are multiple actors who come in and who contribute. So let's take an example of Apple. When they launch
Yeah.
an iPhone, they will invite the product specialists, journalists, right, media, and consumers as well, and together they will contribute to a message or a narrative, and then they will finalize a narrative. And India, I would say, very recently, a company who is doing wonders is Mahindra, right? With their, all their,
The products.
let's say,
Yeah.
Mahindra Thar launch, right? They do in a very similar way, where there is an omnidirectional communication happens. There are various actors in between who are contributing, to this, to the message. So, if I have to summarize, I would say that in omnidirectional communication, the roles are getting blurred, which means that it's not the sender and receiver. There are multiple people or actors, in a way, I call people, or let's say, as actors here,
Yeah.
who are contributing to it, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is that the messages are continuously getting evolved, right?
Hmm.
So it's not just one message when it is sent and it's received. Over a period of time, it will get evolved. The other thing is that you would see with AI coming in, there are a human actor and there is a non-human actor.
Yeah.
So there are now even non-human actors who are contributing to the com. So as per me, that we have now moved from a one-way, a two-way communication to an omnidirectional communication. So that is a major shift which is happening in communications now.
I've been recently seeing a lot of organizations are getting into trouble, PR crisis, because of lack of understanding of how to communicate and what to communicate. What are your thoughts on this, and how can somebody avoid that?
I think it's very important to understand your audience, right? Whoever you are communicating, be it external, be it internal, understanding of the audience, understanding of the situation you are in, right?
Hmm.
And as an organization, you should be able to predict that if your message is going to have a possible reaction or not, right? I think if organizations are honest to their purpose, right, and they
Hmm.
are honestly and transparently communicating internally to externally, we can actually avoid a lot of crisis there.
Okay. Are there any guidelines when somebody, like a leader, communicates to the media? Are there any guidelines that they follow?
So I think for any organization, for any leader, a lot of leaders are pro themselves, and that's why they are
Yeah.
leaders in communicating.
Yeah.
Because for any leader, it is very important that they're able to articulate the message to the audience
Yeah.
very well. But then, it is also important for them to go through media training,
Hmm.
right? Where they get to know that, hey, if there is a possible question asked, then what is the how best you can articulate it to your audience. I think that training is very helpful, and a lot of C-level executives are now, I see the trend that they're going through it.
Yeah. I want to touch upon two more important aspects of communication. One is gamification. I have
Yeah,
seen, like we talked about Apple, you gave an example of Apple.
yeah,
I've seen like brands like Apple has been using gamification in their product
yeah,
launches, and also to communicate or connect with their employees as well. I
yeah.
have also seen Nike using a lot of gamification to connect with their end user. So, how do you see you have been tackling a lot of complex issues and problems at your organization and also driving innovation as well? How do you see communication using gamification?
So I love gamification, right? So I have used gamification in a lot of my campaigns. I think that gamification mainly does the following things. One is that to a person, right, who is involved in gamification, gives right to choose their own path, right? Any game where you can
Yeah.
choose your own path. Second, it is a competitive thing, so it works on human psychology.
Super engaging, I think.
100%. And the third is, right, you work in a community, right? You work with people when you
Mm.
are, in a gamification model. So I think these are the things which really help in gamification. And I can give you a few examples, right? So,
Yeah, please.
the first example would be, an external example where, I was working with a company, a small company, and we used to make tech products for the telecom operators of the world, and we were
Okay.
headquartered in London. And so we ran a campaign for a London-based telecom operator called Orange then.
Yeah.
And the campaign was that it was called Orange Tuesdays, where every Tuesday, if you message on the network of the telecom operator, you will get if you want two tickets, you get one ticket free, right, of a
Oh.
blockbuster movie. And this happened 10, 12 years back. So obviously we were first to come up with such a loyalty campaign. It was a big hit, and it got a lot of revenue as well, for the client and for us as well. So it was a big hit in terms of gamification. And recently, I think, I also tried gamification internally,
Okay.
wherein we had a challenge where we wanted to hire a lot of people, right?
Hmm.
And this was again 4, 5 years back, and, where there was a need for us to, hire people. And
Scale up.
yes. And, there are a few things which we wanted to try with referral, hiring was, one was that when you hire someone from a referral, the person tend to stay longer in the organization, right? Second is that the cost of hiring reduces, right? So I think, if I can give you a ballpark number, then if I have to go externally and use let's say a hiring organization to help me hire people, I might have to pay, let's say, around 1 lakh rupees to their agency for one person to hire,
Yeah.
right? And if I do it through internally, that is reduced by a good 80%, right? So what we did was we came up with a gamification where we launched a referral league, which was on the lines of IPL, where there were people who were divided into different teams, and they were captains, they were owners,
Mhm.
and they compete with each other to refer people,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And we also designed a platform where if you are submitting a referral, you can actually see the full journey of the referral, where the referral is, and you can see your score, you can see your team score.
Oh,
And
okay.
if your referrals are successful, then there is obviously rewards which happen, right? So this again became a big hit, and we saved a lot of money, and we were able to hire a lot of people through this. So yes, gamification is a true winner.
I'm going to take this idea and implement in my organization. So, moving on to the other aspect of communication that I was talking about, personalization. How important is personalization in communication strategy? Since you lead communication for 80,000 plus people internally, how do you personalize message for each one of them?
Yeah, so personalization is very important, especially in the current world, right? And consider this, that there is uh, a C-level executive and you want to sell let's say an IT solution, which is $1 million deal to that person. Now that person goes home and watches listens music on Spotify, watches Netflix, and also uses Instagram. So right, the person is experiencing a lot of personalization already, right?
Hmm.
And now if your sales rep goes and in a very basic way, gives information about your company, or has very less understanding of the client,
Yeah.
that is not going to excite that person, right? Because that person is already tuned where he's getting a
Hmm.
lot of personal recommendations.
Yeah.
So that is where personalization comes in. And for B2B organizations, right, we are sitting on gold mines of data, right? There's a lot of data in the entire journey of our prospects or our clients. They are leaving a lot of footprints, digital footprints, or breadcrumbs, as you say, when they you visit a website or social network, or when they search for us on Google, or even when they physically meet us, right? Now it is up to us that how we use this data and are able to personalize the experience of our prospect. And the more you are able to personalize it, the higher the chances for you to be able to sell or retain your clients. So personalization in B2B obviously is very important.
Yeah. Large ticket business and yeah, and personalization. I think it goes hand by hand also as
Sure.
well. Moving on to an interesting section. Uh, Rajdeep, as per you, what are the key trends in B2B market that you are excited about?
All right. So I think in B2B, I would say that first is I'm really excited about AI, right? And,
Hmm.
AI plus marketing automation, because I've done a lot of marketing automation in my life.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about how AI is going to marry marketing automation, deliver again, a lot of personalized solutions for marketers. Second, I would say is immersive storytelling, right? AR, MR, the mixed reality which is coming up. Third is the sustainable marketing tactics, right? So it's a challenge for a marketer now to be able to, deliver marketing solutions or be it events which
Yeah.
are, sustainable.
Sustainable.
So I
Yeah.
think these are the three things I'm really excited about.
Okay. Uh, you talked about MR coming in picture. What are your thoughts on MR? Now it's been an integral part of marketing. How do you see mixed reality changing the way we communicate and engage with our audience?
Yes, I think I'm really excited about mixed reality, because it gives you an opportunity to do all the things which I spoke right some time back. One is which is storytelling,
Yeah.
right? The other thing is the personalization,
Personalization.
right?
Yes.
It is also breaking geographical barriers, right?
Uh-huh.
When you do it, and when you I would say that when you do mixed reality, you are able to wow your audience. The wow factor, which is even for us B2B marketers, be it events or when we host our clients, we always look for the wow factor, and especially to wow the C-level executives is a real challenge,
Real
because
challenge. Yeah.
yeah, they go around the world and they have seen the best of the things, right? So I think the mixed reality is pretty exciting that way.
So you talked about some of the use cases for external audience like your clients. What are the use cases that you can think of for to excite the internal audience with mixed reality?
So, the few things which are on my mind to really try with mixed reality is, for to engage our people,
Yeah.
right, our employees, and that's a big challenge for any organization to keep the, to our people engaged, right?
Yeah.
And I think mixed reality gives you that opportunity to do it. A lot of companies, they launch their strategies, they do their brand expansions, so it is very important that if they use such techniques, they will be able to have better recall, right,
Mhm.
of their narrative in front of their audience, be it internal. The other thing I would say that employer branding, right,
Mhm.
where mixed reality can really come in, especially when you are going to, let's say, campus for hiring, right? And
Hmm.
we've seen that. I was looking at some data that the campus dropout rate for a lot of organizations is really increasing, and organizations are actually trying all tactics possible to make sure that they are able to communicate, the brand's, let's say, the mission of the brand or the purpose of the brand even before the people have joined. So I think this way of immersive storytelling can really help, especially in campuses, when you're doing, and even, if you want to do advertisement, to do lateral, the mixed reality advertisements. I've seen, a few examples
Yeah.
really that they're really wowing the audience there. So I think internally these are the things I'm really excited about. There's some really, useful use cases which people should try about mixed reality.
I really love the use case of hiring
Yeah,
in through campuses. We do have plans to take mixed reality to campuses, but it was more of association. But I really like the idea of hiring
sure.
also. Moving on, looking ahead, how do you see future of marketing changing in next 5 to 10 years?
So I would, in 5 to 10 years, there's a lot of things are going to change in,
Yeah.
marketing, especially with, AI coming in and how marketing technology is evolving really fast. But I think that, um, the biggest change is going to happen is that we're going to probably move away from targeting the segments based on, the ages, which is, let's say,
Hmm.
the Gen Zs and, your millennials and, the Gen Alphas who are coming in now.
Yeah.
I think, with AI and marketing automation, you'll have so much information about
Th-
individuals at a
Yeah.
personal level,
Yeah.
that you want to, get away of biases where you say that, hey, all millennials behave in one way,
No, they
right?
don't. Yeah.
Right.
Actually. Yeah.
So I think that is the biggest change, and it's already started to happen. Let me give you an example, right? If you've seen, Mercedes campaign, if I recall, it's called, "Grow Up" campaign, right?
Yeah.
They are targeting, their brand to people who are quite young, right? So they want to get away from, and they want to create a brand which is ageless, right? So I think that's what I predict, that, in 10 years, we'll have more power in terms of our targeting, and we won't be targeting such huge segments, particularly.
So basically, we will be shifting from demographic to more behavior aspects of marketing of consumers.
Yes, I would say that it's, as I said, that you will have more power, or knowledge and information about every individual. So
Yeah.
instead of you saying that, hey, if I'm running a campaign, let me just say that, this will only go to, millennials.
All right.
Rather than that, you would, create yourself as an ageless brand, and you will go beyond it, because it is not correct to think that people above 60 don't go to concerts anymore,
Yes.
right? They do.
Rajdi, what are the three scenarios that you can think of to use mixed reality for your clients?
Yeah, so events again, because in B2B, events are, again, one of our favorite channels. We want to go in front of our, clients, meet them,
Yeah.
and have those in-person conversations. And that is an opportunity where, we want, if we can personalize their experience, and if we can use immersive storytelling
Yeah.
through mixed reality, that is the number one use case. Second, I would also say is that a lot of organizations have experience centers for their clients,
Okay.
right? Where, it's, we consider this as a really a tech savvy place where you bring in your client, you personalized, the experience for the client, and you showcase relevant stories, right, through industries, sectors, or solutions, right, for
Wow.
for
Yeah.
the client. And that is where you need technology like mixed reality to come in, right, so that you can do the immersive storytelling. So I think that's an important place. The other I would say is that, when you the client is, when you're onboarding a client, or you want to have a discussion there with the client, that's where, again, I would say is an important use case, for mixed reality.
Wow. Interesting. Moving on to some lighter question
Sure.
now. Is there any specific campaign or project that you have worked on that is like your favorite so far?
Also, there are lots of them, but I would say my favorite would be that, early in my career, I got an opportunity to implement, marketing technology or marketing automation for a big tech company.
Okay.
And the task was to create a scoring mechanism, a predictive scoring mechanism. So let's say when a prospect comes from the website, and how do we are how are we able to predict that in future when that lead will be ready for it to go to the sales, right?
Okay.
And there are a lot of let's say technology things involved in it, but to create that predictive scoring mechanism, or the formula, is something which I worked on, and it was implemented in the organization. It's a big tech companies, part of their marketing and CRM. So that is some a project which I'm really proud of.
What is one advice you would want to give to a marketer who's just starting off his career?
Oh, so I think the advice is to get into anything, any kind of marketing. You can, if you can get into an agency in the start, that's very good because that's where you learn a lot,
Hmm.
and move around quickly. Don't worry about it in the initial days. Try to get into different functions, of marketing, and try new things. And I would say don't worry much about money in your initial days. And if you in first 5 years, if you are able to learn in various functions, then you are set for for you to become a good marketer in future.
Thank you so much, Rajdev. This has been really great talking to you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
This is your host, Nidhi Kohli, signing off. Thank you for watching Flamcast. We have more such exciting episodes coming up for you. Stay tuned.